So today I'm reviewing a deck that I've actually had for quite some time, and I haven't done a review because this deck is one of those decks that only comes along in your life once in a very great while. The first deck I had this experience with, here's Talula, was the Tarot of the Vampires deck, and the second deck that I've had this experience with has been with this deck. This deck is the Mary L. Tarot by Marie White. This is the box that comes in. This deck is an investment deck, and I assure you that it is worth every penny if you're considering purchasing it. The case, the packaging, all of it is something that you're going to want to keep and will stay with you throughout your life journey as you work with tarot. I'm just going to read this little bit. 78 card tarot deck exploring the alchemy of the soul. Companion book explaining the symbolism and mythology of each card, suited for divination, meditation, or mystical exploration. This is the book that accompanies the deck. The Mary L. Tarot, Landscapes of the Abyss by Marie White. Let me just show you. She goes into a history of tarot, her experiences at the beginning, and then this is like an example with the Three of Discs, which would be the Three of Pentacles. She goes, sorry, Talula is on fire today. She goes into talking about the mythology, and then she has, this is really interesting, and a lot of people don't include this. Let's see, long slide. She has her keywords for this deck. She has her keywords for the reversal, and then she has the traditional divinatory meanings that you would find like for typical Rider-Waite-Smith decks, etc., with the reversals underneath. So you don't need another book if you're starting to work with this deck to reference if you're trying to see what the difference is between the meanings. She has it all right here. That's really helpful. So it's not a color reproduction, but it's a large reproduction of the image on the page, which I think is really helpful. I'm going to say to you that if you purchase this deck, you really do need to read the guidebook at least once, if not 2 to 5 times, to really pick up and appreciate all of the mythology and symbolism that goes into each card and why she chose the images she chose. Warning, this deck does contain nudity. It is in painting form because the artist is a painter. But there is nudity. There's hermaphrodites. There's all of that in the tarot. This doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I find it's a really beautiful way of expressing symbolism. But if you're concerned about that, if you have children in the room, whatever, you're not going to want to necessarily take a look at the images that I have picked out to show you all. So I just want to share that disclaimer before I start showing the images. The artwork is Talula, my darling. There, look, everybody can see you. Who's that pretty girl? Who's that pretty girl? That's Miss Talula. The artwork is absolutely astonishing. And she took quite some time to create the deck. From what I understand, people were talking about it for a long time. But it's so worth the time that it took her and the time that she chose to spend on this. And she really is focusing on the esoteric aspects, the darker aspects. And so this is a deck that really speaks to my heart. And it's just one of those decks that you fall in love with, and that it's like you step into this timeless space with, and you could spend eternity contemplating the images, forming your own relationship with each card. It's just one of those decks that you just find so rarely, and that you just absolutely treasure. I have not used this deck in a reading for anyone else. I don't really, up to this point, use this deck for spreads. This is more of a deck that I've been studying and slowly peeling back the layers and getting to know. So this is a really personal deck for me, and that's why it's taken me a while to do a review. I just have such a well of emotion, and I've had such an experience with this deck that it's hard to describe it. So this is a really, really deep deck, I will say that to you. If you're looking for a typical tarot deck and you want to do a lot of, I don't know, easy, immediate work with it, it might not be the deck that you're looking for, but you might have the experience where you start using it immediately and you absolutely fall in love with it, like I did with the Tarot Vampires. I use that deck constantly for everything. This deck I use as a study tool with great respect and great honor. In fact, it's really the closest feeling that I've had to this deck is the Thoth Tarot by Crowley, where you know that you have to approach the deck with a great deal of respect, and it's like, you know, you're kind of walking around the deck and the energies in the deck and becoming acquainted with the energies of the deck before you even start working with the cards, type of thing. Like, you know it's going to be the rest of your life that you're working with this deck. This is the type of deck that is. There are no images that I do not like in this deck. I love all of them. The symbolism in all of them is beautiful. It's spot on. This is a deck that brings out really visceral feelings, and it's supposed to do that. So be aware of that. If you're not a fan of dark decks, then you might not feel comfortable with this deck. But let me just show you some of the artwork. I'm going to stop talking. It's one of those decks for me, people. So this is the cards are quite large for a tarot deck. I love it. They need to be this large for you to get the images. It's worth the awkward shuffle for some people. I don't have that issue. But for those of you that do, it's totally worth the shuffle. Let me just move this so everyone can see Miss Talula because she needs her TV time today. This is the backing. I knew I was going to love this deck because it's the Ouroboros in the shape of infinity, the snake swallowing its own tail. So, absolutely beautiful. I'm going to show you these cards, which are the cards that I absolutely love, 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 love. This is a stack of the 78 that I really love, but these are like the ones that I absolutely can't live without. But I love every image in this deck. So I'm going to start with the Page of Cups. I really haven't even taken the deck out of order. Okay, here's the Page of Cups. Oh, Miss Talula, I'm so sorry. I think I have to move this. I know you wanted to be a superstar today. You are a superstar. We all love you. Here's the Ace of Cups. I'm going to go really slow so you can see all these. The Ace of Swords. The Ace of Wands. The World. Judgment. The Sun. And I actually, hold on a second, because I want to compare the moon to that one for you so you can see. The moon is not in this pile. And oh my gosh, the research he did for this, guys, is so painstaking and intense. A lot of Egyptian mythology. This is the moon, which actually I should have put over in this pile. And this is the sun. So you can see them together. I mean, there is just such exquisite attention to detail in this deck. Here's the Five of Cups. Five of Swords. Oh, I love this image. Four of Discs, which obviously Pentacles. Four of Cups. And if you're, this is that Four of Swords. Oh my gosh, I love this image. So if you're feeling that, oh my gosh, I can't find the symbolism in these images, the guidebook will assist you. Four of Wands. Three of Cups. Three of Swords. So I'm going to tell you, oh my gosh, it's just like, oh, love it. The images that are like I just, oh my gosh, like I'm going to be getting a tattoo of some of these. This is the Seven of Cups. This is one of those ones that I just cannot get enough of. And I know the camera is not doing it any justice. Just see the green in the eye. This is one that I am going